It's 9:10 on the Big J Show on How About It with 9. Joining us right now, the queen of burlesque, Dita Von Teese. Good morning, Dita. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am excellent. It's very exciting to talk to you because you're one of those people that I don't know a lot about your personal life. I just know you from pictures and seeing you in the news and stuff. So it'll be nice to really get down to touch base with you here.
All right, let's do it.
Let's start right off at the top here about how you became who you are. Like right now, like I said, the queen of burlesque. You're like, you epitomize this burlesque style, which now is huge. I mean, with the Pussycat Dolls and all these other kind of groups, like they're trying to kind of pull from that, but you kind of started doing it again before anybody else. Like what drew you to that?
Well, I started performing burlesque in the early 1990s. I just always loved retro glamour, and I liked showgirls, and I worked in clubs around Los Angeles and Orange County, and I started developing a retro-style burlesque show. And I started in strip clubs and in the LA underground scene, and I sort of built up my show from there, and it's just something I've always loved doing, creating shows and performing them, and it was a hobby that turned into a career.
That's very cool. And so for you, I mean, some people, they'd think like, oh, burlesque, you know, it's the style of dressing and acting and stuff. They would do that, and then they'd go home and be quote-unquote normal. You seem to kind of like live that burlesque lifestyle all the time.
Yeah, it's just really, I think basically when I was at the age where I was old enough to dress myself and start wearing makeup, I really loved the idea of transformation, and I loved, movie stars from the 1930s and 40s, and to me it was very obvious that they were all very created, and that the reason they became icons of Hollywood was that they were sort of had these larger-than-life images that were very real to them, but also very artificial at the same time. So I kind of was very inspired by that idea, and I just don't have really like two personalities. I don't have like an on-stage and an off-stage. It's really all part of who I am.
So would you consider it like your sense of style, or do you kind of like live that? I mean, do you kind of speak differently and stuff?
No. Well, no, I don't really carry over. I'm kind of always been the same girl personality-wise. I haven't really gone into that trying to speak the 40s lingo or anything like that, and there are a lot of things about modern life that I really like.
Yeah.
So it's not that I want to live in a different era.
Do you do the internet and stuff?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I actually had one of the first websites that was ever on the internet. I had one of the first adult-themed websites in the very, very beginning, so I've always been very tech-savvy.
But instead of like you have to be 18 button, it was like one of those little slide windows in the door, and hey, what's a password, eh?
Yeah, sort of like that.
you did it all old school.
Yeah.
The new book you've got out, Dita, StripTease, I'm hearing a lot of good things about it. What's the deal with the book? Give us a little rundown.
Well, this is my second book with HarperCollins, and this book is it's 3 little mini flip books, when you can flip the pages real fast and you get to watch a little movie.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's sort of some of my shows, my burlesque shows, put into these little mini books, and they're all packaged in this beautiful velvet flocked box tied with a satin ribbon, and it's a really cute gift for anyone that loves retro glamour or pinup or burlesque, or anyone that's a fan of me.
Very cool. Are you offended with all the people kind of jumping on the bandwagon, or is that just, you consider that like an honor?
I've always I've watched a lot of burlesque become more mainstream and people capitalizing on it, and the thing that I've noticed is there's a lot of in this modernization of burlesque in the mainstream, there seems to be they're kind of sanitizing it while they're commercializing it and removing the striptease and the nudity elements of it, and to me that's a big disservice to stars like Gypsy Rose Lee and Lily St. Cyr, who actually were striptease artists and took off their clothes, and I just feel like it's important to preserve the real legacy of these stars, and so I make a point to remind people that it wasn't about a fashion style. It's not just about singing Big Spender with a feather boa and fishnet tights. It was about the art of the striptease, and so I try to hit that point home.
That's something that I would help hit home. I think we need more women out there in different industries saying, you need to get naked.
Yeah, I just think it's important to, I don't know, I've been a approach and people trying to make me sanitize my own act, and I just simply refuse to. I just think it's important to stay true to what you do, and striptease is what I do.
Now, what does your family think about this? Do you have family that's still around, Dita?
Oh yeah, I'm close to my family, and I always say I wouldn't do anything on stage. I wouldn't do it in front of my mother. My family has seen my show. It's actually kind of a very PG-rated show. In fact, I've done my show all over the world for audiences of all ages, and I think you have to see it to really understand. It's sort of, I like to combine elements of humor and a playful sense, and it's not just about sex. It's sort of like about combining things that are a little bit confusing, and they make it interesting.
That's kind of a good point, too. It's like we think of nudity, and like nude dancing and things like that, and it all goes back to, like, you think dancing at a strip club, or like you said, striptease. People think stripper, like today's day and age stripper, where their goal, I think, is to like get some sexual arousal, where you got to remember there's like nude photography and nude paintings and stuff where like you can be nude and still tasteful and classy.
Yeah, well, that's the trick, is to try to change people's minds about what sensuality is, and that's my goal, is to change people's minds about striptease, and I don't mind being called a stripper. That's what I am. I just want to change people's minds about what they think a stripper looks like and what a stripper does.
Yeah, that's awesome. What do you think about like a Lady Gaga? We were talking about people with unique styles and stuff. Do you respect her kind of?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of her. I just saw her in Paris recently, and I think she's a really great girl, a really nice girl, and I think I love what she's doing. I love that she's being eccentric and willing to go to a place that not a lot of pop stars are willing to go. I think there's such a formula these days in Hollywood about what you're supposed to do to gain acceptance, and she's sort of going against that, and she's not trying to be accepted as a sex symbol or to be just pretty. She's just kind of doing things that are outrageous for her own satisfaction, and I like that.
Yeah, I think it's very cool too. A lot of people look at Lady Gaga and they think every time we see her out, she's all made up and looks good.
She really is. I saw her. We were just having dinner in Paris, and she was sitting there eating dinner in a latex bra and panty and a mask. And she was just having her dinner, and I thought it was amazing. I love that she's living it, and I like that there's people that are sort of changing the face of media, and it's great.
That was my question there. Do you ever go out, like, do you think, man, it's a Sunday morning, I'm a little hungover, I want to just go and grab some food, and you just roll out in sweats and a t-shirt or something? Or do you?
No, I'm pretty good at, I do roll out pretty quickly when I need to, but I'm really good at putting myself together, putting a simple dress on, flats. If I have just a little red lipstick and some big sunglasses and my hair put back in a chignon, and I can get out of here in like 10 minutes, and I look like I'm made up, but I'm not really.
Wow.
So I'm good at the illusion of being, done to the hilt, but it doesn't take much time.
That's very cool.
Sometimes I just throw on a trench coat and nothing underneath it, and a pair of big sunglasses, and I totally look like I'm dressed to the nines.
Yeah, people will wonder, like, oh, I bet it's a nice dress under that.
Yeah, there's nothing. I didn't have time. I couldn't be bothered.
What's next for you? The book, Dita StripTease, is out right now. What else are you working on?
Well, I also have, I'm working on a third book, and I have a lot of shows that I'm doing. I headed to Miami to do a show this weekend, and I have a DVD out of my performances that I did at the Crazy Horse in Paris, and I am the brand ambassador for Cointreau, and I have a lingerie line in Europe, so I have a lot of things going on in Europe.
Everything.
That's a little bit of everything. I'm working hard.
I think it's been great talking to you. I've seen a lot of pictures, and it was nice to hear from the real Dita. Dita Von Teese, the queen of burlesque. Dita StripTease is the book. Dita, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
The Big J Show. Weekday mornings from 6 till 10 on Billings' #1 hit music station, Hot 101.9.